Hi guys! Now in this lesson we're going to revise personal reflective writing. It is a combination of descriptive writing and reflective writing, and then we're going to anchor all of this using Gibbs reflective cycle. Now, just to revise, we have been going through this the past month. So what is a personal piece of writing? It is about you. It is about your experiences, your feelings and ideas. It is when your character shines through, your personality as well, and your thought processes, how you think. And most important of all, it is descriptive. Now, on the other hand, what is reflective writing? It's not merely a list of things that had happened. It's an analytical piece of writing. Basically, you really think about a particular experience. It is a description of facts that make up your entire experience that you reflect on later on. And then it is where also you evaluate the entire experience. Now, a quick revision. How do we write descriptively? Remember, descriptive writing contains descriptive elements, obviously. For example, the writing has to appeal to the five senses, right? It should create a vivid mental image in the reader's mind using your words. It goes beyond physical description. So it's not just me describing a certain item. It goes beyond that. It also involves reflecting on why something is special or important. Now, descriptive topics usually ask you to write about one of these: a place, a scene, or a building, or an object. Okay, like for example, the one that we spoke about. What's your favorite object from your childhood? An event, an incident, an occasion, or an experience. Write about a time that you have failed, or a person, and our assignment is regarding our unsung heroes, right? Now, remember, in order to be descriptive, we must show and not tell. All right, so you may stop the video here and you can look at this slide all over again. We have gone through this in class. Now, when you show and not tell, all right, okay, you are not simply stating something. Okay, she went out the door. Instead of saying that, okay, how did she walk out the door? When we mark your essays, we are always asking you, how does this character, or how do you do something? Describe. Instead of walking out the door, are you sauntering? Are you shuffling your feet? Did you rush out the door? Okay, so be more detailed, okay, and use good vocabulary. This is when your vocabulary comes in. So when you show rather than tell, you make the reader be part of the experience. Sensory language. So this is another strand of descriptive writing. Now this one, it is where your five senses are engaged. So your sense of sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. So sensory language basically, for example, for sight, you use words that make the reader see what you see. So instead of saying, okay, very simple words to describe something, use your vocabulary, like for example, blurred, glimpse, indistinct, shimmering, tarnished. Okay, so all these words. Okay, so again, you may stop the video here and you can actually go through the words. Alright, so these are general tips for writing descriptive essays, and this is where after we have looked through your essays, and this is our general feedback. Now again, provide vivid and specific details, include details that appeal to the senses again, and sometimes you achieve this by using literary devices like metaphors and similes. Now this is very important. The next point here is, do not turn a descriptive writing into a narrative. We don't need a storyline. For your introduction, try different ways to start. Okay, for example, a quote, a story, an anecdote, or description of something. Again, you can stop the video here and then you can read through all the tips here. So I have put here tips on how to describe a scene, how to describe a person, and how to describe an object. Now, this is a sample descriptive paragraph. Okay, now the question would be, describe a scene outside the window. So I will go through. The walls of the neighboring block of flats are awash with a warm carroty hue from the orangey orb, whose heat shows no signs of relenting. In fact, the glow seems to intensify as minutes grow into hours, a rosy suffusion reflected in the window panes, turning grass patches by the sidewalks into rectangles of gold. Beyond the sidewalk, the stately casuarina trees, bathed in tangerine light, stand perfectly still, as if posing for an artist's portraiture. Their conical outlines are so familiar, I can picture them with my eyes closed. I always think of these as my trees, my ever-present companions since childhood. Now, let's hone in, let's zero in on the descriptive elements here. I will circle them in red. I will box them up in red. Warm carroty hue. So instead of saying orange or red, just simply saying red, okay, I elaborate some more. Warm carroty hue. Orange orb. Okay, what is this orange orb? Yes, it's the sun. Glow. Rosy suffusion, again to describe a red hue from the sun. Rectangles of gold, again to describe yellow, the yellowish tint. Tangerine light. So over here in this paragraph, you see a range of orange to red kind of colors. Okay, again, this one is a simile. Conical outlines. Okay, instead of just saying it's a tree, okay, it's a big tree, you use the word conical. All right, so this is what I can pick. So this is what comes to my mind. Okay, this is my mental picture whenever I see that paragraph just now. Okay, you see the apartments, the flats being bathed in sunlight. Okay, the casuarina leaves, all right, bathed in sunset as well. Okay, so this is what we mean by mental image using words. So these are good examples from your peers. Okay, I'm not going to go through. Again, you can stop the video here to just read the examples from your peers. And these are very good descriptive examples, so well done. Now, reflective writing. How do we write reflectively? Now, remember, a reflective essay is not simply an account of an experience. It's thoughtful and also entertaining because you are inviting the reader in your writing. So remember, this is how reflective writing looks like. It's talking about what, when, who, and where. This is where you describe. And this part, the reflective, what are your feelings towards the entire experience? This is what we want for you to achieve. You're very familiar with this. Okay, in SLS you will watch the video here. I just put this link. Okay, this is Gibbs reflective learning cycle. So this is basically the format, the standard format on how you reflect on anything, on any experience. Now let's go through, okay, starting from the purple circle. The description, okay, what happened? This is where your descriptive comes in. And after you describe what happened, what were your feelings? And this was what you did last week, right? This is what Mr. Faiz went through. What were you thinking? What thinking or feeling, your feelings? Now, the next part is what I'm going to elaborate on today, is the evaluation, the green circle, and then the analysis, the yellow circle, the conclusion, the red circle, and action plan, the blue circle. All right, so this part okay, is where you are where you are going to do a lot of thinking. Now, don't be too stressed, okay, or don't be too rigid to follow these circles to the T. You don't have to, as long as you have some reflecting going on. And how do you reflect? It's where you evaluate, you analyze, you conclude, and then you think about your next step. That is reflection. So don't be too stressed, okay, on fulfilling all the aspects of the reflective learning cycle. As long as you have, again, I repeat, as long as you have some evaluation, you analyze the situation, and then you conclude, okay, what is your action forward? What do you want to do after this? Okay, after you witness maybe the healthcare workers toiling so hard because of this pandemic, what do you want to do? What is your will to act? All right, now this is just some tips for you to use for language, to use for reflective writing. Again, you may stop the video here and actually copy all these words, okay, to use in your essay. Feel free to copy them. So for description and feeling stage, all right, these are the sentence stems. You don't have to use all of this, but these are the sentence stems that we can use when you write about your description and feeling. So for example, this is how a sentence will be. For me, the most significant element about my experience was blah 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 blah. Okay, so these are the sentence stems that you can actually pick and choose and include in your essay. Sentence, certain words you can use like previously, at the time, at first, initially, subsequently, later on. All right, these are sentence stems, or these are language features of reflective writing. Now, for the evaluation, analysis, and the conclusion stage, all right, these are the sentence stems that you can use. For example, I have significantly improved in my ability to empathize with people who are struggling thanks to my experience with the pandemic, something like that. All right, so again, you can use all these sentence stems in your evaluation, analysis, and conclusion stage. Again, you may stop the video here so you can actually copy all this. This video is here for you to help you write. Again, phrases to use. The next step, this understanding, all right, is essential. So all these terms, all these words and phrases you can use in your essay. Some of you might ask me, okay, Miss Maria, I don't know how to phrase my sentence. Well, these are the sentence stems that you can use when you are reflecting. Now, looking at a model essay. Now, this is the same essay that Mr. Faiz went through in the Footsteps of My Father. He went through the description section already. Feelings also he went through already, and I'm sure most of you are done with this. Now let's look at the evaluation stage. Now, remember, evaluation stage is where you as a writer, you think about the good and bad experience, or maybe the good and bad points, or the positive and negative aspects of a job. Okay, in this case, it's where you weigh the options, you make the judgment. Now, you are not analyzing here yet, you are just creating some judgment. So, okay, so for example, so let's read through. What was so exciting, you might ask? Being a flight steward, you will come across many people from different countries, so you get to interact with these people and share information about your country. You will also be able to meet famous people. Now, in this part, okay, the writer is talking about the positive experience, right? Let me just write here. Okay, the positive experience of the job that his father has. So so this is where the father can meet famous people, right? Okay, and then able to experience a lot of cultures. So that's the positive part of his job. And then you see here this part, okay, this is the not so good part about his job, right? Yes, his job is exciting. You get to meet new people and visit places, but it also has some challenging aspects. Like for example, you know, he has to be on the ball if someone gets sick in the plane. Okay, so this is the negative. All right, so this is the evaluation. So when you evaluate, okay, think about the good and bad things based on your experience. So for example, the essay that you are doing, the unsung heroes, right? For example, you're talking about the healthcare workers. You know, you might talk about how, you know, yes, they are saving lives, right? Okay, they're saving lives every day, but at the same time, you know, they are also exhausted. All right, so you can actually talk about that. So that's your evaluation stage. Your analysis is where you go deeper into the issue. Like for example, what can be improved, um, or what are the lessons that you can learn, all right, from this experience. So for example, in this essay, the analysis is there are also lessons to be learned from this job. One will be able to witness how poor certain countries are in. So this one is a deeper thinking. Okay, it's an eye opener to what poverty means and thus encourages to help the poor. Okay, so when you are analyzing, you are basically going deeper into the issue here. You are giving an insight, you're giving your reader an insight to the issue here. So for this essay, okay, the writer is saying that so yes, again, you're able to travel the world, but you are also privy to the poverty that is rampant in most countries as well. Conclusion. Okay, now conclusion, I like to combine conclusion and an action plan together. All right, so conclusion is where you, what are your overall feelings, all right, after describing, after telling me your feelings, after weighing in the experiences of your unsung hero. What can you conclude from that? what what learning points have you garnered in relation to that experience or to knowing that person, right? So for this one, for this essay, for this essay, the writer says, this is why I have chosen to be a flight steward in the future. Some may think it's not a good job, but I chose to feel to believe otherwise. All right, he has sort of he has concluded in his reflection that he wants to travel, but also he believes that being a flight steward is a way for him to bring everyone together. So this is his conclusion, basically your final thoughts. All right, now action plan is part of the conclusion. Okay, action plan is basically what you want to do after this. All right, in order, like for example, in the conclusion, this writer was saying, okay, I want to be a flight steward like my dad because, you know, I want to travel, I want to help people. Yes, but what is the action plan? What are you going to do to get there? So this is what he says. Okay, he is going to study hard and he's not going to give up and learn as much as he can from my father. So this is a nice ending to his personal reflective essay. He describes his father. Okay, he tells us his feelings about his father. He weighs the job, the pros and cons about the job, and he analyzes the job further, and then he concludes by deciding, you know what, I want to be a flight steward. And what am I gonna do to get there? I have to study hard and not give up like my dad. Do you understand? Okay, do you see how the thought processes are in this writing? All right, so you can combine, okay, you can combine conclusion and action plan together. Again, a lot of you are writing about the healthcare workers in our fight in this pandemic. So maybe, you know, what I will do is, for example, I will describe the health worker and their suffering, my feelings towards what they are experiencing. I will evaluate their experience. You know, what are the pros and cons of their experience during this pandemic? And then I will analyze it further. Maybe link it to a bigger picture or a bigger idea, like saving lives, or how society can be more helpful to them, or this has showed me how jobs like these are actually important. And then I conclude my general feelings about the healthcare workers, you know, how I admire them, and then maybe they deserve so much more. We need to do better. And for my action plan for myself, maybe I'll include, what do I want to do for them? Maybe I will gather some people, you know, to give them a health a care package. Maybe I will have an advocacy project like what you did for CCE. Okay, so that is your action plan. All right, okay, so remember, when you write your personal reflective essay, you don't have to follow the Gibbs reflective cycle to the T. I don't want you to be too stressed on that. But what I want to stress more on are your descriptive language. Firstly, it has to be there. The vocabulary, the expected grammar, the phrases, the sensory language, it has to be there. That's what you need to complete. And then secondly is the reflection. Show me some evaluation of your basically show me your thinking. What is your overall impression about your unsung hero, and what do you want to do after that? Or maybe what has your unsung hero inspired you to do? Okay, so the reflection part, it has to be very, very obvious as well. You can't spend the entire essay describing, and then your reflective part is very short. No, you have to reflect properly, and that's where the Gibbs cycle is helpful. All right, okay, I hope this helps. Feel free, okay, to go anywhere this part of the video, stop it or whatever. All right, okay, all the best. Okay, take care and stay healthy. Bye bye.